I have a birthday in a couple days, technically 4 days away. And every birthday, I go away for a couple hours just to do some reflection. And this birthday in particular has a lot to reflect on. My goodness. Uh, Maybe yours does too. Maybe you've had a long year. You've been through a lot. But as I go into this year, what I'm learning is that reflection and taking the time to reflect is almost more important than what you do and what I do. I spend so much time in conversation. I spend so much time with business owners and entrepreneurs, and I get to learn and deploy in a really special cycle, meaning that I have to pick up on patterns really fast and then also redeploy new patterns, so that the like active learning cycle for many is learn information, there's a big delay, and then information goes back out or reactivate. My cycle has to be really small to be as good as I am. And I want to keep getting better. So the cycle has to keep shrinking. And to do that, I have to get better and better at like learn and then activate and make that circle really, really tiny. And in a way, I also do that on a macro scale, or want to do that on a macro scale, where I'm learning something from one person and then activating it. And then I'm applying it to everyone, right? That there's enough of that to make a lot of people better, that there's information abound. And so every birthday, when I am not in coach mode and I'm just by myself and I'm just looking at my stuff, what I usually do is I grab 3 Post-it notes and 3 colors of Post-it notes, if you will. So yellow is often for like sort of a like yellow like traffic light, right? Like, hey, these are like cautions. They're yellow cards for my soccer fans out there, my footballers. They're yellow cards. They're like, hey man, like these were tough lessons. They were hard bites. They were big losses. They were lessons that hurt and stung. And so I'll go through my calendar. I'll go through my bank statement. I'll go through my notes and like yellow flags, yellow cautions, boom. Then I also look at wins, and wins have been green, which you can probably understand. Wins have been green to represent, a highlight or a moment or a big opportunity, a door that opened, a celebration of some kind. An action could be an outcome. It could be a person too. And that stack is usually a lot larger than I think it's going to be. Mostly because if you're like me, we're not really counting wins as much as we should. We're focused on the macro, and oh my God, there's just so much to think about most days that you don't really pay attention to your wins. So that has been a lot of fun also to think about, hey, I actually did have some pretty awesome wins the last year. Then I look at the last category. And the last category is always the most important. And it's usually on a blue Post-it note. And that blue Post-it note is what's next. And not like what's next, like, oh, well, you just did blank in business, so you got to do blank times 2. Not like that. Almost more like, how do I take all the things that are happening and put them, like deploy them, right? How do I make that learning cycle really small? How do I activate on something? So I remember last year I was sitting and reflecting, and I had all these Post-it notes. I was at a pool, and it was nuts. Like there were so many Post-it notes. The staff is coming over there, like, what are you doing, man? Like this is insane. And I'm just like grooving to music and having a good old time. Like I'm just in my zone. And I remember writing down that I needed to believe in my worth more. I needed to believe in what I was doing more. I needed to believe that I could be good in business and be good as a dad, that I could be good as a friend, and that I could be good as a coach. And there was just a lot of this like worth stuff coming up for me. To not have a background where anyone really taught me how to believe in myself, or how to identify self-worth, or how to build self-worth. I It was like a big revelation. And I remember writing a card that said like reach higher. And I came back from the pool with all these post-it notes. I put them down and like scattered them all out. Actually, I think I have them out here. And I looked at them and I spent time processing what was there. And that one, reach higher, powered up this like idea. So I went over to a document. We have a document for Get Out of Your Own Way, all of our products. And I went over the document and I wrote a note on all of the pages and the prices of our services. And next to our products, I wrote in parentheses, I want this number to get to this place. Bigger number. I also added some other features that like we just couldn't manage at the time. But I wanted that. I wanted something really special to come from that realization, this idea that I could reach for more. Well, that document was opened about 3 weeks ago, and every single one of those milestones had been hit. And I don't know that I had paid particular attention to it. I'm constantly reaching, but there was something in just the idea of like, I see this trend from looking at the year, then here's a post-it note, then it goes on a paper, and then it becomes real. That I don't know that we talk about enough. I don't know that we talk about it enough in personal development. Like I legitimately believe that that's how it happens. It goes from brain to paper, maybe to multiple papers, and then it becomes real. Like that's just how it's always worked for me. I remember one time I drew a picture of the apartment that I wanted, and then like 6 months later did a tour of a place that I just happened to be driving by, and the guy opened the door to the same everything from the picture. Like it was creepy weird that I had drawn this picture and then entered the apartment that I had drawn. Like it was like remarkably copied almost. And I had never even heard of the place. It's not the first time that's happened in my life, and it won't be the first time it happens in yours. This is why we write a vision. This is why we write what we want. This is why we write these things. And now going into another birthday, I'm probably reflecting on the fact that my reflections have been working. that after all these years, my process of like pulling out information from within and taking time to do that and taking time to think through what I want based on those reflections, learning and then actively redistributing that knowledge has actually become like a workable model for how to take and change your life. Going into this birthday, like a lot's changed the last couple of years. And in ways, not a lot has. I mean, look, everything's growing and it's amazing. And I'm very grateful for that. And also like, I'm working on the vision. I'm working on me the same way I always have. Like, I'm still the same dude. I'm just chasing bigger and I'm working harder, but way less. It's like, I'm proud of that. I'm still who I said I would be. And part of that has also been writing out who I want to be, the characteristics. I make a lot of mistakes, so don't get me wrong. Like, it's not like who I wanted to be is perfect. I wouldn't even aspire to try to do that. But I think there is something about writing out and taking the time to reflect on big days. It might be end of the year. It's another good time to do it. It might be birthday. But taking the time to do that has been really meaningful. And if you want to learn more about those things, if you've got a successful business, but it doesn't feel like you have a successful life, it's time you and I have a conversation. Because this method is basically like, it's our get out of your own way framework. It's how we create transformation. We write, we reflect, we take time, we build, we grow. And before you know it, you look back and you're like, oh my God, this is exactly what I dreamed of. And I really think that can happen for you, just like it happened for me, just like it happens for all of our clients, as long as they're willing to do the work. It's always a good time to do it. Whenever your birthday is, I hope you do it then. And if you want more details, I'll send it to you.